Welcome back from the commercial break, and thank you for keeping on with us. I believe you are following. Our topic of discussion remains improving labor industry sector and looking on resolving labor industrial actions for best performance and education institutional stability. With our dear guest, Mr. Mugeiga Alon, the General Secretary, Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union, and with myself, the host, Dr. Joseph Tinjeba, Public Policy Analyst and Management Expert. And I am also the Vice Chairperson of University Professional Academic Staff Union. Our agitation in this talk show is to continue to value the role of education sector and how to stabilize educational institutions, especially as we know that education is a backbone also of the economy. And with stable institutions, we are sure that we can have the best outcome. Yeah. And with best performance of our children, those who are in high institutions and low institutions, low level of the high schools and so forth, still we honor the outcome depends on how best the teachers have done the good job. And we are now in this last session looking at a situation where there have been a pulling of ropes of some teachers, section of teachers, the arts, and this ranges, by the way, it has just started because I was following on social media, even those in institutions of high learning, universities, they are beginning to contest it, that science lecturers, they are being remunerated higher than those who are teaching humanity courses. Yeah. You are aware.
Yeah.
And now the battle, what is worrying me, it is going to shift from even secondary school, and now it will go to university. Dear viewers and stakeholders, we believe there is a need to harmonize this situation. While fighting for the labor rights, the workers' rights, and the current research available and the empirical evidence is the scenario of the arts teachers who have laid down tools because they want a better pay. And to the guest with us who is a scientist, the last question which we are dealing with is the ways to harmonize this situation. And as I've said, you've come here for this serious talk show. The situation you don't want, as you leave, you will hear now it's going to university. Maybe tomorrow your children will be in the university, or maybe you have your relatives there. Then you also hear that there is also another, attempt to lay down tools. We want stability in education institutions because we cannot have performing education sector when industrial actions, strikes continue to manifest. And as we come to this closure of our program, our discussion wants to center on now the redress and the harmonization of this situation and maybe outstanding recommendation that will show the relevance of unions and also improvement of education compared to the demands relating with salaries, salary increment.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor, once again. Now, there's something I want to first bring to the attention of the viewers and the public. The discussion of pay enhancement by government, starting with scientists, when it reached the education sector, it has been reduced to arts versus science, which is a wrong view, a wrong way of viewing this. And it is trying to generate, you have talked about public universities. I don't know why that is coming.
It is coming. There are also others are beginning.
One thing I want the public and our counterparts in the arts section to appreciate is that the policy targets scientists. That is the bottom line to start with. And number two, there is a difference between art and science. That's why we are talking about scientists, workers who are scientists, and those who are non-scientists. When it comes to other sectors of government, other departments, this discussion, by the way, does not exist. But doctor, are you aware that in local government we have personnel who are humanities, and we have agricultural officers, these statisticians, and they are earning more money than the personnel?
1 second. When, for instance, I worked in local government in 2005 up to 2009,
Yes.
2010. When it's U4, because what is bringing a challenge here, there's a concept of minimum wage bill, but also the salary harmonization, which you mentioned.
Yeah.
And if it is local government and here U4, by that time now I don't know the actual pay. You could know that this one is having a take home of 500,000 or 550. And when it is U3, by the then time when I was in the local government, U3, that meant 700. And whether I am, by that time I was a senior assistant secretary, whether you are a senior assistant secretary, whether another one is an agriculture officer, but is U3, it could be the same.
But now this has been changed, has since changed now, and we have taken some time. From 2014 to date, there are 2 salary scales. There is a science salary scale and arts salary scale.
Even
so there is U4 science and U4 flat.
Okay.
U4 flat is for humanities, workers of humanities, and then U4 science for scientists.
Okay.
So in other sectors of government, local government, this debate is not existing. I know they are also not. Anyway, let me leave that at that. But when it comes to education, that's why you see these discussions coming. Why? Because they have reduced the scientists in education sectors to be just teachers. And yet, we are not just doing the teaching. Before we become teachers, we become scientists first. And then we add professional courses to make us teachers. I would have chosen to become an engineer. Engineers don't do educational courses, those professionals. A biology teacher could have decided to be a doctor, a clinical officer. But on their biology, which can take them anywhere in another field, they decided to add professionals, education, to come and deliver this, pass this knowledge to the young ones, transform them so that we can create more doctors, more engineers, more agricultural officers, and more scientists. So you don't have to punish me because I have decided to offer professional course to come and teach. You don't have to only look at me, my teaching, and you forget my background of being a scientist. If you don't want to see what I'm doing and how we are doing it, how different it is, at least to look at what me and you, is there a difference? Is there a scientist? Who is a scientist? If I am a scientist and you appreciate, then allow me to benefit. Because the policy is starting with me, who is a what? A scientist. Then let's wait for your time, which the government has stipulated. Maybe next time, maybe next year, or whichever the government will decide. Then when your time comes, you also benefit. But you don't have to come like I was telling you. I saw people this week striking, some were contesting salary enhancement for science teachers. And this is against...
I thought they were doing me, I'm moderating. I thought they were doing what you call harmonization.
No,
of the
harmonization
science
of what?
So harmonization where the pay, yes, because there is discrepancy.
Harmonization of scientists with those of humanities.
In terms of pay, not individuals.
In terms of pay. But this is a policy.
The fight is the pay.
There is a policy of government guiding this. The policy is saying we are paying scientists, we are enhancing salaries for scientists first, then after which we shall enhance for those of humanities. So what are you fighting for? To harmonize between arts and scientists?
So what do you advise? Because the laying down of tools is quite, it's quite,
It is okay. It is
laying down of tools, because not all our children are going, and remember these days, like those of O level, they need also arts. They need to study English. 1 second. They need to study history. Those subjects which are still also of humanities which are needed. They don't only study science. Me,
That is true.
my attention I'm drawing you to is how can we end this in a harmonious way, where yourselves, you science teachers, you say, let us see how to work, maybe towards building on the negotiation. If at all they miss the point, maybe you teach them the best strategy, because you are here, and I do believe and I encourage you to be able to build one another, because you are in the same working environment. And as we go towards achieving best results, you must also be working in harmony.
To be on record,
yes,
we as science teachers, we have no problem with our.
So how are you advising them so that we can harmonize this, and also maybe possibly to the policy makers to look at how to streamline this matter to come to the end?
You see, at the
in a manner that favors all parties.
I told you that the government does things that are planned. If the president comes out and says, and the cabinet sits and passes a policy, they have done research on certain things. We wish them well, our brothers, and we want them to be paid well. Actually, if it was in our reach, we were the one to decide, possibly we would have increased for them as well. But what is the government saying? Now, if government says we have this much and we want to take this category to this tune, then we return and pick this one.
Okay, I've seen
what is the best? Is it for you to fail this group that is benefiting? You know what? That's what I told you. I saw in one of the media houses during the course of this week that we are ending, that they are fighting against salary enhancement for science teachers. In fact, when you start such a fight, just to know you are finished.
They are not fighting against you.
I saw it. I'm telling you. Hey, let them fight for their enhancement.
Yes,
they don't have to.
But they refer to you because they are not having the blade. And
that is where there is a problem.
It's like you talked about the MPs, 193 billion.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
yes.
And it's also some case which will happen. As I say now, if you've increased for the MPs, because that's what you said, and I think that looks to be what is either trading all over in media and maybe in reality. 193 million. Others also are going to say no. And even by the way, that's why the government needs to be very sensitive in this matter. And that takes us back, as you are talking about planners, that takes us to the planners. By the time they begin to locate some money to some sectors making supplementary budget, they need to consider all sectors and all the people. Because the budget cannot come on to favor a certain section of people. And because of that,
but doctor,
I'm coming to. I'll give you.
This is a policy.
I'm coming to.
This is a policy that is being implemented.
1 second, I'm generalizing the whole way how the government make allocations and supplementaries. Because I'm attributing it back to the policy makers.
Yes.
By the time they begin to make these budget allocations, supplementary budgets, it's high time they should always consider it, streamline it and make it universal. Because you mentioned it and it is critical to us. If you talk about 193 million for the billion for the MPs, the doctors you added them the other time. Also the wananchi who are the taxpayers are going to say, so now for us we are struggling with taxes. Why can't you reduce for us so that we can be able to sell proper our commodities and the consumers are supposed maybe to increase our clients? So it takes us back to the economists to know that the issue of salary discrepancy, the issue of discriminatory increments and discriminatory consideration on the economic livelihoods tend to cause socio-economic strife, which cannot be done even beyond your unions. By the way, it is my observation I'm making. You can come on now.
You see, Doctor, you have mentioned very many things about that issue. But I want you to know, actually, that element of discrimination is what we have been fighting. You see, the policy has to be implemented equitably. Now, what is the policy saying? The policy is saying we shall enhance salaries, but starting with scientists, and it is a policy. So if you are implementing it, make sure all scientists in all sectors of government benefit. Then after, now pick up another group. Now, if you think that policy is a bad policy, then you can now bring your argument at that level of a policy. But don't bring it at the level of only the science teachers. Then we shall look at you as somebody who is now promoting discrimination. Discrimination.
Okay.
Because you are targeting science teachers, yet other scientists are benefiting.
Okay.
Why are you now only singling out science teachers? And that is what we were fighting for, and we said we shall stand against it, and we don't want it to ever happen again.
Okay.
We are happy that the government has fulfilled its commitment. The president directed, and his directive has been implemented according to what we have been informed.
Yes,
so we wish well our counterparts, the arts teachers, because we work with them, and we pray that the government shall find possible a solution for them. Maybe they are looking at the next year that the government has promised us too long. That is not ours now to look into. Government, depending on how it is planning to handle it, it will look into it and handle. But we wish them well. But what we don't want to tolerate is those people who are pushing this category of teachers to raise up that they are against salary enhancement for science teachers. Okay. We will not tolerate that one, because science teachers are scientists. And whatever scientists are taking home, even the science teachers must take home. Okay. We do not want discrimination in the scientists, pay enhancement. We do not want marginalization of the scientists in education sector.
Okay, thank you so much. We are drawing towards the closure of our program, and I would like to bring it to draw attention of our guests and the viewers. There are many unanswered questions, but this is a brief one. You've said it all almost, much as what is not in your reach, you are not held responsible.
Yes.
But looking at our topic of discussion as we are closing our program, we would like to know if you are advising parents outside there who are viewing and listening to us, who also admire their children to be scientists, and you who have been in that sector for so long, how can one groom a child to be a scientist? It is most parents
that's a very good question.
And to acquire it and to sustain it. Then number two also, which will also be important, what are your recommendations to have stability of education institutions? Remember, we had talked about those which have declined. You had mentioned management, but that's not only enough. The stability of these institutions, especially in contributing to enable them, contribute to our economic growth. Because this stability seems to be very important. Indeed, it's important.
Stability of institutions.
Yes, stability of institutions, and to which of course contributes a lot to our economic growth. So please, it's over to you again as we look at.
Yes, you have asked a very good question, when a moderator, about how to groom children to become scientists on the side of parents. But let me first pass this. The issue of students becoming scientists, I earlier told you that the ratio now is 1 to 5. For every 5 students, one does science, takes science
1
at
to 5,
level, yes. Then 4 students will take arts. But one of the causes, the challenges that has been actually bringing that was one, demotivated teachers, science teachers in particular. Number 2, when the teachers have been having less time to give to the content, and which has been making the content very difficult for the learners. Number 3, low pay and not appreciating science when these people become scientists. Like, for example, a science teacher earning a take-home of 900,000 and is in Kampala or in a town area, has to rent a house, a decent house, can be about 500, moderate, not even very decent, 500,000 or 600,000, and you must take your children to school, you must pay fees, you must take care of family, you have a wife and other children who must eat. That amount of money is not enough, so you end up looking a struggling person. Now, this learner here you are training will not even, because you are actually the immediate role model.
So
you are dealing with difficult things, difficult equations, battling with acids and chemicals, but the shoe is at an angle of 45.
You want to summarize because we are coming to the end. Number
Yes.
one, you are
now
saying...
that government has motivated them, I think it is already an aid to the parents, their children. I want you to mark my words.
Yes.
There. Mark 3 to 4 years from now, the implementation of this policy. The ratio of students taking sciences is going to improve. Trust me. You do it and follow it. You will see what I'm telling you. And we are likely to see a ratio of even 3 to 2. For every 5 students, 3 will take sciences and 2 will take arts.
Okay.
Why? Emphasis in the world right now is on science and technology, and we cannot run away from that. And if we must develop as a nation and sustain that growth and development at a certain level, then we must emphasize the teaching of sciences, we must emphasize technology, we must emphasize creativity and innovation, research. We must put more emphasis. So parents, number 2, on the side of the parents, parents, one of the things they need to do is also to encourage their children. They are first with these children before they come to us. Whatever they tell them at the beginning, normally, have you ever discovered that normally children want to opt for that the parents did, the professions? Have you ever discovered that? Majority, at least. So you have a greater influence on the child than maybe the other things outside. And number 2, that's why I told you, for us, we stay with these students more. Now, when these science teachers are motivated, certainly the learners will like science more and they will take it. And at the end of the day, the nation will benefit. We are not saying that doing arts does not benefit the country. No, we are now talking about science and its benefits.
Then finally,
on stability, one, government must take a deliberate effort of, first of all, stabilizing these institutions. In terms of, you mentioned in terms of staffing, and we should not allow staff to stay longer on the station. Actually, 5 years, maximum 10 years, they should have transferred these head teachers, these teachers. Because sometimes they get used to the environment and the place, and they become the demigods of that place. They can't even listen to board of governors. They can't listen to any. Then the second thing, let us strengthen these OBs and OGs organizations, associations, and let's give them a slot and board of governors, at least 2. I can tell you there is nobody who has a heart of an institution like the land. Yes, exactly. Then they should also strengthen the PTA. Sometimes the administration subdues the parents. They have no voice. So, and when they have no voice, it means the administration will simply do whatever they please.
Give us your last word for unions. Should we continue to appreciate the role of unions, or we should have all unions that they join together? Because you are dividing many unions so much, and people are going to get confused. And
division is likely to continue as long as the gaps are not addressed. But we ask unions and trade unionists.
Even beyond only teachers, yeah?
Yes. To concentrate on their cardinal laws and mandate. And the cardinal law of a labor union, of course, is to pursue the interests of the members, protect their rights, and make sure they agitate for better pay for their workers. That is primarily the role of the labor unions. And they must concentrate, and they must avoid discrimination. They must also equip themselves with better bargaining skills. You do not bring down a policy because it is targeting a section of your members. Yet you can advocate for others after this section has got.
Thank you, Mr. Mugega Alon.
Thank you very much.
It has been a pleasure to have you in this weekend to give Ugandans the promise and the hope of stabilizing the education institutions, and also the possible ways of improving their performance and the promotion of science education, of which you are a general secretary of the whole association, our whole union. And with this, we believe we will be also contributing to the socio-economic growth of the country. And it is the message I pass across to you, that please ensure that our schools remain stable. We don't want to send our children to school and we hear strikes. Yet we also advocate for the well-being of our teachers because you are also parents like us. Dear viewers, thank you for staying with us on Smart 24 TV every Saturday. Never miss such a program, The Point, of where we advocate for the socio-economic progress of this country. And outside there, you can partner with us and even sponsor such program to continue giving you information, educating, and teaching. Thank you so much.